Yep.
Hey, look at that. So we have a little bit of the first movie where it dragged them on. All right, whatever.
Wait, so they didn't do anything by that's got to do something to him. That really
That sucked.
No, Rex, it's the classic of he's dead. He's not.
That was crap.
I mean, it's not as low as New Nightmare for me.
Oh my god.
New Nightmare is definitely.
Oh my god, is this hot
well.
take?
Here, wait.
No,
Let me go to the
I was about to say that's a cold take. What do you mean?
Well, it's a hot take by general standards, right? Because Wes Craven's New Nightmare is considered one of the better ones.
From general reception on the Wikipedia page, maybe, but like, what have you heard? I've never. I've never heard anything about Wes Craven's New Nightmare. You know, I have heard of Freddy vs. Jason though.
This could be the worst. I do think it's either this or Wes Craven's New Nightmare for worst.
Because I wasn't like bored to tears by this one, but I was just cringing the whole way through.
I think
the longer it was going on,
the longer it's going on, the lack of creativity was killing me. Wes Craven's New Nightmare at least had us an element of I had no clue where it was going to go next, no clue at all.
And they did have Rex, so
they did.
Very different, but both pretty awful.
Yeah, this felt like just a shitty remake, which is what it is.
You took something that already existed. You took the first movie and you made it lamer. And I don't know. Like,
how did you do that?
I would take Nightmare, to be honest.
I'm not decided on that though. New Nightmare was fucking painfully boring.
Yeah.
As I've said before, I think boring is like the worst thing that you could be as a movie.
Yeah.
Even a movie, like if we're ranking these on like enjoyment for watching it, boring's the worst thing you could be.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like we all have to agree
shit.
New Nightmare's at the bottom for entertainment factor, surely.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to? Are you marking this as like a list here, or I guess I've got my folder open.
I suppose we can do it because we hit the end of this wonderful adventure. We should do the both of first do entertainment factor and second, I guess, film quality.
Even know.
I was going basically off of entertainment factor from the start, which kind of lands us, I think, from Freddy vs. Jason at number 1.
It is for me.
But
wait.
Then number...
I don't know, does anyone else disagree with that on entertainment factor?
Some of us would like to participate in your ranking.
Okay. Well, it's like, we were just kind of going by what some of our, what we were talking about, essentially, at the end of each movie. So would you say number 1 is Freddy vs. Jason?
We can make an official EFAP movies
ranking list for the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
All right.
So we take a vote and then just kind of tally each one?
Yeah, I think we can do that, because I don't think we'll be too out of sync with each other.
Well, we can have a bit of a back and forth, see if we can change anyone's minds, So I'm assuming that number 1 is Freddy versus Jason.
No,
it is for me,
I'm going to agree with that.
So, Cap, you find A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 more entertaining than Freddy vs. Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm kind of torn between 3 and 8 as well. Mostly different, but not necessarily super different reasons.
It's not even close for me. I really like 3, but I'm far more jazzed and engaged by Freddy vs. Jason. It's so much more fun.
I think the story of 3 has more rewatch value.
Yes, I mean, I liked 3. I absolutely did. For me, it's number 2.
I'll also go with Freddy vs. Jason as the most entertaining.
It's very entertaining, but I don't think I would get any more enjoyment out of it watching it again, really. The same way I might with Dream Warriors.
That's potentially true, because I see what you mean.
I could buy that. I don't know how much it sways the argument necessarily, though.
I was surprised at how, coherent the story was with Freddy vs. Jason, but I still think it pales in comparison to 3.
That's where, obviously, I'm going to be picking 3 over Freddy vs. Jason for quality.
I also thought the kills were better in 3 in terms of relating to the characters.
Yeah, they
that's a factor
realized.
That definitely boosts 3 above basically every other film.
I think for me, those story aspects do contribute to the entertainment value for me.
That's fair.
If there are no objections, we can move on to what is our slot number 3, which I think might potentially be contentious for some of us.
What's your favorite?
So
just
3 would be number 2 would be 3, right? I don't think
Freddy vs. Jason.
Stop. There was a whole other conversation happening there. Jesus Christ.
Yes, we did. Freddy vs. Jason is number 1.
Hello?
Dream Warriors is number 2. And now we're moving
Somebody mute him. Jesus. Lil Platoon, what do you have to say about the number one ranking for entertainment value?
I'm going to side with Cal. I'm going to go with 3. I think it makes, for entertainment as well as for quality. Because though I found Freddy vs. Jason really funny and entertainment, obviously that is a large part of it, I didn't really get the same sort of investment, particularly in the use of the dream mechanics, which really kind of did devolve into Freddy and Jason kind of throwing each other around in something that's vaguely recognizable as a dreamscape, but without actually using very many kind of dream mechanics. And the main characters were complete arse. They didn't exist. So it was fun to watch them fight. I just didn't really get that much out of it beyond it.
I understand. Fair.
The other characters were pretty lame.
On that.
Oh shit! Now it's balancing out a bit more.
Oh boy.
So what is that? 3 votes for number 3 as number 1?
3 to 5, unless anyone else is switching. All right.
Nope.
Well, I guess the boiled down, the question is, did you really give a shit what happened in Freddy vs. Jason?
Yes.
Does it actually matter who wins?
I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I was hoping for particular payoffs, and I got a lot of them. It's a different kind of animal in terms of filmmaking, where I'm enjoying the schlock, I think would be the word, right? And there's an art to it. You can do it badly. In fact, I think we got a bit of that in the series, that same sort of intention but done shit. So I think
even for the pure entertainment value of kills, 3 trumps Freddy vs. Jason.
I don't know. The multiplier for me goes up just because of the fact that Jason's involved, and then we have the clashing of those two. I even like the nature of the both killing someone at the same time. I can't believe they managed to try and justify it with writing too, that someone was trying to rape her, which counts as sex, and that's why Jason was triggered by them. And then she was unconscious because of drinking, which activated the corn raper, which is why she was dreaming. You know what I mean? You've got they're both doing their thing, and then they both clash, and what the fuck? This is my kill, and it was my kill. And then Freddy, being the puppet master, being I'm going to take this idiot out, and then it's more complicated than he thought. I don't know. I have some level of appreciation for the fact that they actually took the effort to write that.
The type of movie it is, it's incredibly impressive, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
The corn rapist being thrown through the air was very funny. I'll agree with that. But,
I think there was plenty in the movie of stuff like that. The fact that Freddy got his thing caught in the real world, he was just oh, come on, trying to throw the thing at Jason. That's funny as shit. The fact he was going to kill the 2 main characters, and then the girl is making fun of him, but he looks at her, looks back at them, looks at her, and he's I don't what? And then gets roasted by it for a few minutes to just confuse him. There's these funny things happening.
The second character, I'm absolutely not proposing that this be a third list we do, but I would, if we had all the time in the world, separate out funniest from most entertaining.
Okay.
Well,
entertaining is very subjective, and I think that's all that's why I'm not saying no, Cap, you must understand that. But I'm no, that makes sense. What you're most entertained by is going to be down to you.
Yeah, and I don't think I was really rating mine based on hilarity. Sure, that's part of it, but at the same time, that's just entertainment value, really. It's I'm not rating them from funniest to least funniest.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think then we can now.
Popular consensus is that Freddy vs. Jason is the most entertaining. Is that right?
It would seem so.
It would seem that
that's
way.
What the votes are, yeah.
Which moves us to 3, or the rank 3.
Yeah, rank 3 as number 2. Or rather, third movie is number 2, right?
Dream Warriors, is number 2.
Okay. So now, I think we landed, for number 3, I think we landed on movie 1.
We haven't even discussed that.
Well, the thing is that when it comes to entertainment value, I enjoyed the 6th one most out of what we have left.
That's true.
That would be my vote for the entertainment factor.
Yeah.
I think, I think I might have to agree with that.
I definitely enjoyed Freddy's Dead more than the first film.
Yeah. So we're gonna bump 6 up as number 3.
It was
in
always
terms of entertainment. Yeah,
I think it was always a 3.
To be fair to Daz, I don't think we had a full-on discussion about it after we finished 6.
No.
I think I had said after 6 that I enjoyed it more than the first one.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I think there may have been an assumption on the air that 6 was super retarded, but it's just
It is. That's why it was beautiful.
Very funny.
That would explain it then. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're all in agreement that number 3 is 6.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Well then, where do we land on number 4? Would it be 1?
one.
It's
probably,
one.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
And then
so.
after that, I don't care anymore. I don't care about the ranking after that.
Yeah,
Fringy,
get a
I
bit of
will,
a-
with one amendment. I don't care about the rest as long as Wes Craven's New Nightmare is at the bottom.
at the bottom.
It is
It's-
at the bottom.
Yeah, I guess what I would say is it's either that or the remake would be at the
Because
bottom.
like, at least
I
there
feel
were
like the
some
remake
things
has
that
got
were pretty
way more
interesting.
going
I think that there's a discussion there that should be able to be resolved. I don't. Was anyone truly more entertained ultimately by Wes Craven's New Nightmare than the remake?
God no.
No.
The remake actually had like a little bit going for it.
It
There were
had,
things to appreciate.
A couple of instances of things to appreciate, whereas, damn, yeah, oh.
Because I know that we're thinking right now about all those lame ways that they represented Freddy in the remake, but it's like, yeah, but Wes Craven's New Nightmare did that too. Like, pretty much all of those
did.
things.
And I just didn't find any of the meta stuff that it was going for even remotely worthwhile.
Yeah, the writing was
no, it
almost
was-
pretentiously
I found it
frustrating, while...
insulting.
Yeah, whereas this one was just conventionally bad. It's
Yeah,
like
this
a
one just
very
lacked
normal bad
any
movie.
insight or creativity to the franchise. It was more so like a little
Except
kid
for
trying
a couple of
to...
instances. A couple of instances, of like
yeah.
creativity.
And
Yeah.
extra
might
negative
nudge it
points
over.
for New Nightmare, though. New Nightmare has the writer-director in it explaining it, and it still doesn't
Yes.
make sense. So it goes even further down the list.
All right, so I'm looking at. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then after 4,
Clarify, it was number 1 is Freddy vs. Jason. 2
Yeah.
was 3. 3 was 6.
Yeah.
4 was 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably,
Well, something I want to
and I guess we've
propose
now-
is that if we've sorted out the last 2, the next one up from the bottom should probably be Dream Master. I fucking hated that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I put on
4,
top for me as well.
yeah.
Because that one shadowed over 3 and just killed the characters.
yeah.
That's what puts that one below.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
okay.
Yeah, starting
So
off
we
by
have our-
killing the characters that I actually cared about and were in a good movie, 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck you for doing that.
Oh, that
And,
means
it
we've
didn't, and the kills weren't even like.
I think we should have it at that
interesting.
point, right? The list.
We have a definitive list. Yes.
Yeah, so
For
it's
entertainment
Freddy vs. Jason.
value.
So from what I'm gathering, it's Freddy vs. Jason is number 1. Number 2 is 3. Number 3 is 6. Number 4 is 1. Number 5 is 2. 6 is 5. 7 is 4.
Yeah.
8 is 9. And New Nightmare is last.
Oh
I
my
would
god.
I personally put Dream Master below the reboot. I think.
Interesting. That's a
I remember hating
possibility.
it, but I don't remember being as bored. I don't remember it very
Oh man,
well,
but the
to be honest.
retroactive damage that it does to something that was good is something that's
Yeah.
not
Well,
possible in the
Yeah, because that's a way to interpret the entertainment
continuity.
value is how much it pissed you off.
Yeah, when you start
Yeah.
off the movie by doing that in a way that's completely unnecessary and is just like it's just so shit to see that after like the high
Well,
of
it's
3.
just, you know, if we talk about continuity in canon, like 4 is bullshit. It's just bullshit in a way that the remake can't be because it is different continuity.
Yeah, it's its own
Remind me, is 4 the one where she just
It's on
uses
the
a
fire
mirror,
pit.
but she uses a mirror to kill him at the end?
Oh yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
that's
four
never
was
used.
awful.
The entertainment value, though, a dog pissing fire is pretty good.
I mean, that's like I don't know. Like
So
that
I
was
wanna-
like that made me giggle for the visual, but then I'm like,
I was
what
gonna
the
say,
fuck? Is this what we're doing?
In a different context, we probably could have found that incredibly entertaining, but coming off of 3, which finally like managed to kind of nail it, and then it's like a dog pissing fire on him, brought him back. It's like, oh, fuck you. Why'd you do that?
I'd agree with that, but like, I don't know if I found it less entertaining because of that. It was just once you got over the fact that, okay, this is no longer even trying to be a quality film, then it's just, oh my god, how hilariously can they fuck up the one good thing they have?
I don't remember it,
Then it became
being
funnier.
like hilariously. I feel like
Neither
that's
do
what
I.
6 has, the insane, retarded, funny, while Dream Master felt more like the retardation is really sad.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I'd agree with that.
cringe.
Like Kincaid just getting killed randomly. He's like, oh, okay.
Oh,
That was
is
so
that what we're
lame.
doing? Oh, that is what we're doing. Okay, this is
Stab.
oh, wow.
That's it. That's it for that guy. Just stab.
The problem with 5 and 2 is that I legitimately remember very little about 5 to the point where I might need like help with
The Dream
remembering
Child,
5.
yeah, that was.
the one with the
And
weird
2 I
baby at the
remember
end.
very
Well, that's what we
little
learned.
about
He
as
was the
well.
rape baby of 100 prisoners or whatever, right?
That was the
Yeah,
one.
and
We
then
learned
like
that.
All right, yeah.
So
we
that
got the
that's
pro
good.
tag from 4 throwing a Hadouken into the other gal who now gets the power to absorb her friends.
Oh,
when
that
they
was at
die.
the party, wasn't it? That was the pool party.
Pool party was 2.
Pool Party was 2.
Okay.
We we were in for something after that. We were like, oh.
I
think I'd put 2 above 5 then.
I agree. I think 2
I did that too. Yes.
has interest, at least in the gay angle.
It started getting really funny at the end.
There was a lot of nice gay stuff in there, yeah.
Did we come to a conclusion as a group whether the reboot or 4 is more entertaining?
I think the reboot is more entertaining than Dream Master.
The problem for Dream Master is that I think it's probably more creative. However, it pisses me off a lot more.
I'm not that interested in fighting on anything after the
I'm chill with it.
We've got the top 3, and Wes Craven's at the fucking bottom where it belongs. So I don't really care about 5 through 8 really at all.
Well, because I'm still curious to see our disagreements possibly on the quality listing, so I'm willing to just concede this one as this seems to be about right.
We can do that.
Well, should we just revise the list? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Who gives a fuck? That's
kind of, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for saving time that way.
Oh, sorry, no, 1, 2, 3, 4. Who gives a fuck? Wes Craven's Nightmare.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm just not even gonna delete that.
Particularly determined to make sure that was at the bottom.
Yeah. So quality, we're doing top 4, and then just making sure that Wes Craven's New Nightmare is last.
Yeah, I'm just
That's
leaving
all.
it there.
Quality, I think the interesting one is with quality is that I think I agree that 3 is better than Freddy vs. Jason in terms of
yeah, that's easy for me. I think
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'd fight you if you disagreed, honestly.
there's much more to praise.
Coherent
in
story
the script
with more of a realization of the concept of this series. So
it's got really great special effects. Takes advantage fully of the format. I think it perfected the format. It was basically done after that. You nailed it. And the best stuff of Freddy vs. Jason is mostly in 3. There's a couple of more like goofy, fun things that 3 didn't quite do, but it shouldn't be doing. It's not its prerogative. So yeah.
But the thing is I'm happy to put Freddy vs. Jason as number 2 on the quality.
I'm fine with that.
I think
it is.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
I think it is.
Yep.
All right.
What would rival it? What was
Because
the
there's actual narrative in there.
The problem is, like, I feel like there's got to be some kind of conversation about the first one, but, like, even then, I still think Freddy vs. Jason.
I think so.
I think so
Freddy
too,
vs.
honestly.
Jason cared about trying to, like, explain things and give, like, a reason for stuff, which instantly, just the attempt at doing that.
Yeah, I'm going to say I was impressed with Freddy vs. Jason's script. It's
God.
it's amazing,
Relative to the other Elm Street.
And the issue here now is once we've got our number 1 and number 2, the 3 through 8 numbers, these are movies where I feel like it's going to be really difficult to rate some of these objectively because I legitimately am having difficulty.
Maybe we can find some obvious ones here and there. I don't know. It's like I think 6 is a complete disastrous mess of nonsense.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd be fine with putting 1 on 3.
I feel like if we put 1 as number 3, it's like we're sorting out, like we're ranking like nonsense levels.
Kinda. If another way of putting it is like how coherent some of these are, it starts to get pretty difficult.
Yeah,
it does. I would say that the first one is noticeably more coherent than like 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, I think it's a cut above them.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd happily.
Even though it fell apart toward the end. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
It has a lot of problems. I don't actually think number 1 is a very good movie.
I guess it's coherent. It has a sort of simplicity to it. The space between number 2 and number 3, I think, is actually quite big. We have our top 2, and then there's a pretty big gap quality-wise after that. So so right now, Dream Warriors is number 1, Freddy vs. Jason is number 2, A Nightmare on Elm Street's number 3, Wes Craven's number fucking 9. But, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Is that agreed upon? I didn't catch whether or not.
Because I think it's
Wes
the
Craven's?
only real contender.
So, like, the lowest quality out of all the films in the franchise. Is anyone... What should take that slot?
I don't know that New Nightmare is in any way coherent.
The writing's bad. The acting is atrocious. The effects suck.
I think it probably folds in on itself like Calamity style if you start to really dig into all of what seem to be the rules.
Especially because the meta stuff doesn't work. Actually, it's not
at
just
all.
that it's pretentious and that it kind of undermines what worked about the originals. It's just it actually doesn't make sense itself.
It just feels like nothing works, and it's boring to boot.
Yeah, and the kid was like fucking annoying.
The Freddy
And
makeup
Rex
was the
was
worst it's
not
ever
even-
been.
I did not like the Freddy makeup. Yeah. Oh, and they didn't utilize Freddy or Robert Englund, like both of the characters, so to speak.
I might put Dream Master beneath New Nightmare on the quality list. Just because New Nightmare, nothing in New Nightmare works because it's boring, it's tedious, nothing happens. You can't really make sense of the lore of the thing, the mechanics of the thing aren't really existent, but it's not in the same continuity, so it's not fucking everything else up, and it's not shitting on everything that came before.
I kind of see what you mean.
It's not part of the continuous story.
Little Platoon, what's the worst part of Dream Master that would edge it out?
I mean, sure, I would have thought the worst part of Dream Master is the beginning.
Starting
when
off by
they
killing
kill all of the main characters, then they ditch the entire mechanic of the previous film. Then they just invent a load of new crap which will be used once and once only and never seen again.
Surely the biggest possible fuck up I'd say for Dream Master is going to be between how they resurrect Freddy and ignore the previous film entirely, or how they take what is probably the main character of the previous film in terms of the one that was fighting Freddy and just move all of her powers over to a different character.
Right.
Yeah, she's just like, I give you my power, and it's like, okay, is that a thing? We do that? Is that a thing? Are you dead now? Are you okay?
And they invent the whole mirror bullshit as a lame excuse.
Yeah.
And they kill him at the end. Yeah.
I'm actually.
Did Dream Master have
Dream Master at the bottom for those reasons?
Did
That
Dream
seems
Master
to me
have
like
the
a
one
unique-
where all the kids were dead?
Oh, do you mean like all of the Elm Street kids had died at that point? I
Yeah,
think
and
so.
all the adults are going crazy over it.
That is what
No,
happened in 6, yeah.
That's 6.
Oh no, you're talking
Is
about
that
6.
six?
Oh,
Yeah.
6 is the wacky movie. Yeah.
Oh.
6 is the
So
one where the town's
we're,
gone crazy.
We're quickly discovering several of these films could take the lowest slot, but it would be for very different reasons.
So are we going for Dream Master being at the very bottom? Because I'm okay with that.
I don't know if I can.
I'm not sure how I feel about it because, like, honestly, in my head, I'm fighting with even the reboot, New Nightmare, and 6 being these fucking chaotic messes. All of them are.
I'd also add that 2 completely abandons whether Freddy can only kill people in dreams or not.
Oh yeah, just pop out of the kid that you
that's
got all
and
gay
it's-
with.
It
and-
never explains how the characters who died at the end of the first film somehow are not dead now, or he's like, did Freddy get them or not?
It's like these
kills
movies are
apparently
not
not.
very good.
Freddy, who are all
How? Who
awake.
knows?
Well, and don't forget, 2 introduced gay, so I don't know if that's a retcon or not.
To the bottom.
It invented gay.
I just think
All
the
right.
idea that he doesn't even need to be in dreams to slaughter teenagers is kind of like, what are we even doing at this point? I think that's a major problem with 2.
It was weird that
Maybe
they
what we need
abandoned
to
the
do
dream
is
so fast.
The pool party seems
So
so
if we-
fucking wild.
So maybe we should go down the list and say which one we think is at the bottom.
Yeah, we could do
And
a
then
vote
tally
way, I
votes.
guess.
We're like qualifying which is the shittiest.
Okay, and it's the worst film we're doing, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
okay, so Dream Master is the worst, I would say.
Okay, capital
I
O.
think Wes Craven's A New Nightmare is the worst in quality.
I think I agree. Yeah, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I think I vote that worst.
Yeah, New Nightmare for me.
The reboot is worse.
The reboot. Okay.
And it's so interesting to look at them, but my instincts, I gotta go with them. Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I hated that fucking film. It sucked. It was so boring.
Bad. So
Yeah,
boring. Nothing
I'll go.
worked.
I'm going with that one too. The new Nightmare.
I'm going with Dream Master.
All right.
All right, so that's
Okay,
2 for
so
Dream
That
Master.
puts Craven.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then,
Craven
I mean,
is
if that's
number
the
9.
ranking, then I guess we've figured it out, right? That means that Dream Master will be number 8.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily, because now it's
Now we have to
between
judge Dream
Master and the reboot.
to go to bed.
No, you can't go to bed. No sleeping. If
I,
you sleep, you die.
If you must leave,
Oh, yeah.
you go right ahead. But I'm interested in the conversation, so.
Oh, I can hear it.
No, you fool.
I think I would just put forward the argument that Dream Master has to be worse than the
reboot?
Reboot in terms of the destruction of continuity.
Frankly, I'm okay with that.
I think
I
that's
would-
a
I
pretty
would
rock solid
agree.
argument. Yeah.
What I would give to the reboot is that it's lame, not totally incoherent. You know,
Yeah.
it's just the first one, but
Yeah.
worse.
There's elements of incoherency, but Dream Master was like absolutely.
I like how we're not
insane and
entertaining Dream
full.
Child because that's a goofy fucking movie, but we're like, no, you're okay. Compared
Yeah,
anyway.
you're just bland. It's fine. You didn't
Dream
piss me
Child-
off, but you didn't make me happy.
It just feels like the part 2 of Dream Master, as in like the problems of it are inherited.
does.
You know.
Yeah, it's like
if we're waiting
oddly
entirely
enough-
for continuity, though, then actually Dream Child is probably second worst on the list because the main character is the same main character in both films, and yet is an entirely different character who's forgotten absolutely everything that happened in the previous one. So if continuity were the only thing, I'd probably rank Dream Child second worst, but it's not the only thing. So
that's true.
Well, to be fair, this franchise has the whole franchise has wonky continuity.
Basically, no continuity.
Follow anything.
Didn't even start with any.
It sometimes flirts with the concept.
I was looking at
the
wiki for Freddy vs. Jason. Apparently, one of the comments of criticism that came from, I don't know if it was Rotten Tomatoes or somewhere else, but that it was like this: the director tried to create continuity from Freddy Goes to Hell as well as the recent Elm Street movie to try and bring them both in a reasonable, logical way. Like that's a criticism. I was like, holy shit.
What's logic? Are you gay?
I would say that in terms of continuity, there's character continuity, there's lore, there's all sorts of dream mechanics and stuff like that.
You could say thematic continuity as well, right?
Yeah, there's all of that. And so I have a hard time imagining that the Dream Child is the worst one in that regard, or second worst even.
Well, before we get ahead of ourselves, I think because we're working backwards at this point.
Nobody,
which is fine,
here seems to be entertaining number 6 as the possibility for one of the worst as well.
Even though it maybe
probably should though.
That film is nuts.
That's a fucking mess of a movie.
That's what Platoon was saying.
I would put 6 as worse than the reboot. I think. Yeah, I would put 6 as worse than the reboot.
Yes,
that's probably fair. I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I can see that.
Okay, wait then.
All right, so let's see. Now we're working. Number 9, the worstest, Wes Craven.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 8, worstest, Dream Master.
It sounds like
7. Yeah, number 7 worstest. Are we going with the Final Nightmare, the 6th movie?
That would be 6. Yeah.
I feel like it really should be. That film, as much as I enjoyed it, was absurd.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but I agree. It was super entertaining to watch. It brought me so much joy. But that was it was actually what its greatest strength was in terms of entertainment is its Achilles heel in terms of its actual quality. So I would put number 6, The Final Nightmare, as the 7th worst.
Or
the 7th best,
all right.
I guess UK. And then I would put just above that the
Dream Child?
This reboot is crawling upwards.
Yeah, I was about to say, look at this reboot just climbing the steps there.
Yeah, I think because fuck Dream Child. I'm more disappointed at the reboot than I'm angry at it.
Yeah, that is disappointing. It's lame.
The reboot was
it's creatively kind of bankrupt.
Yeah,
I agree.
There's pieces.
It's afraid to be itself.
Afraid to be different.
I am so I don't remember anything of the Dream Child. Can you remind me what the worst part is?
That's a difficult question.
The worst aspect. What comes to mind when you want to put it towards the bottom? I don't even remember what happens in it.
It's kind of all of it. Really,
Dream Child was the one where she starts absorbing her friends when they die,
and taking photos off the mirror, right? And then becoming
or is that Dream Master? She says fucking A.
That's Dream Master,
isn't it?
Yeah, that's Dream Master.
Dream Child is the one where she's pregnant and Freddy is feeding the fetus souls.
Oh my god, yes, it is. That's right.
Yeah,
dude, that's the one that I think the director ended up saying was shit after he'd made it.
The end has that whole weird trippy stuff with the multiple camera angles and the multiple different frames of reference and the kid who can't act and then it's just a huge
MC Escher world.
I think I would just say the remake is gonna end up being higher than I think we would expect on this list.
Rags already said that.
It's at number 5, right in the middle.
Dude, it might be 4 really.
It might be. I gotta think about
the second one,
I think we're just starting to realize that's why it's important to separate these things out. We felt very bad for the reboot, but then when you really consider it as a film, it's pretty coherent, I guess.
Because it's qualitatively almost exactly the same as the first film. It's not just a reboot; it's a complete redoing of the first one. So, most of the flaws are going to be present in the first one. Most of the good aspects, actually, it has fewer good aspects than the original did.
Yeah, and it does similar things,
but in
just
terms
worse.
Of basic plot coherency, it's the same film, just not quite as new.
Which is why it shouldn't surprise us.
It would be unnatural to see it ranked basically either alongside or immediately beneath it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
I'd be okay with putting that at 4.
Well, I was about to say, I think the list is complete.
Second movie at 5. All right, so from top to bottom, Dream Warriors is number 1. Freddy vs. Jason is number 2. A Nightmare on Elm Street's number 3. A Nightmare on Elm Street reboot is somehow number 4. Freddy's Revenge is number 5. The Dream Child is number 6. The Final Nightmare is number 7. Dream Master is number 8. And Wes Craven's A New Nightmare is number 9.
I'm glad we could all agree on that last one.
How do we feel about this list? Does anyone believe any of these should be flipped or reversed? Or
I don't have strong feelings about it, but okay, is there anything in The Dream Child that is as bad as the fact that Freddy can just boop into the real world and kill a bunch of kids? It doesn't even need to be in a dream anymore, as happens in the second one.
In Freddy's Revenge?
Correct.
Freddy's Revenge. Oh, no, The Dream Child was just... It's like, what's to remember?
You know what I think about when I think of Dream Child is wacky inflatable arm flailing tube, man. just I don't know. This all kind of. Remember when he was like getting pulled by the spirits of flesh that were attached to his body into like whatever the hell that meant.
Yeah, like I think that was the only thing that I really remember is like the kid just shoots heads out of his mouth and they impale Freddy and then he's just screaming and
because I think
number 2 and 5 is that I remember so little about them.
Well, I want to push 2 up a little bit. I want to defend the and this is something I think you brought up, Cap, at the time, was that it's kind of an interesting idea that Freddy wants to get to the real world or at least experience more of it through a subject, and that throughout the first, like, was it the first half or maybe the middle chunk, he's like tortured sort of with Freddy gradually coming through him, and then you have the probably the best sort of special effect in the whole movie where he bursts through him.
Yes.
Like I think we're supposed to buy somehow that he somehow gets into being able to affect the real world by doing that. Not good, but it's, I guess, more coherent than nothing at all.
Yeah, it builds up the idea that he needs someone as like a conduit or as a dreamer, as a person to...
Wasn't main.
They don't really play much with sleepwalking and as much as you think they would.
Oh, they did a whole bunch in Wes Craven's A New Nightmare.
Oh boy, they sure did have that sometimes.
I'm totally fine with this list and don't want to fight about any of the middle ones, but I do.
I feel so I'm so apathetic about like 2 and 5 in particular to the point where I remember so little of them. But yeah, I think it's one of those kinds of series where you remember the bookends. You remember, the top 3 and the bottom 3, and then the 3 in the middle are just like they float around. I remember the reboot a lot just because I watched it a second ago, and I think that it is weird how it just sort of seems to have crept upwards.
That was really unusual, but I think I'm good with this list.
Yeah, the only one I'd quibble with is 8, 9. I'd put Dream Master beneath it, but that's because like this time next year, if you say, "Tell me what happens in Wes Craven's A New Nightmare," or tell me what you think of it, I wouldn't have an answer. And if you said, "Tell me what you think of Dream Master," I'd say, "I fucking hate that film, and I remember what it did." So I'd put that as 9, but it's a completely subjective measure.
Makes sense.
So that
4 was Flaming Piss Resurrection, right?
Yeah, which kind of sums up the reason that film's so bad.
That notched it up just slightly above New Nightmare. That's the only thing that saved it just slightly.
Is a bad thing.
No, that notches it down for me.
The Flaming Piss is bad. That's bad for me. A New Nightmare was just like fucked up through and through.
So what notches Dream Master above New Nightmare for me is the fact that it did have, like, this girl doesn't like bugs. Oh, she's a bug. It's like, wow, okay, golf clap. But
it's literally like the bar is so low at this point to get above Wes Craven that her seeing a bug and going, I hate bugs, and that's literally it. Means that her getting bug arms and getting squashed in the Roach Motel is just like, that's coherent. It's so low of a bar, but it is technically coherent. Which means it's better than Wes Craven's A New Nightmare.
I would like to in future think of A Nightmare on Elm Street at its best being the 3rd film. What a cool idea, executed pretty well, and that maybe leave the franchise alone. And then also, honorary mention of just, Freddy vs. Jason, probably one of the best stupid sort of fan battle films I've ever seen. Good for you that you managed to make that so funny and stupid and
and you still even tried with the writing. I dig it.
Yep.
If you entertain me, I could never walk away mad. I will say that. But it's so weird. Like when we started off with number whichever one it was, that kind of started with a highlight. It was Freddy vs. Jason that started off with a little mini highlight reel of the series. As I said at the time, you might be fooled into thinking that these 9 movies, or I guess at the time 8 movies, was not mostly shit by playing just the highlights of some of the moments. Going into the series knowing basically nothing about Nightmare on Elm Street other than Freddy Krueger is a guy who kills you in your dreams, and that's all I know about it. I was really disappointed for huge swaths of this.
That's probably
of
worth
the series.
talking about. I'd only seen the first one. What a disappointing mess. I mean, I might be foolish enough to have said something like I was expecting, 3's level of quality, but for most of them, at least somewhat.
What I would say is I very much enjoyed Final Destination and Saw more than this series.
I enjoyed Final Destination the most, I think, of the three
Final
series.
Destination is the one that I like.
Ooh, that would be the ultimate question,
one-
isn't it? If there's a new Saw, Final Destination, Resident Evil from Paul W.S. Anderson,
Resident
or,
Evil.
Oh my god.
or one of these, what would you want?
I guess
I
I think would rank Resident Evil as my most entertaining for me. I enjoyed that the most.
So I find that question interesting because even though I like Final Destination the most, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with never getting another one again, whereas I'd really like more Saw movies.
Well, so the funny thing is, in the world,
I never see Saw ever again.
World we live in, if all of them got a sequel, I think Saw's the most likely to be the best one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think the reason for that is that Saw 10 was actually like an upturn in quality.
Yeah,
they understand
Kevin Grudot, right?
Like
he does seem to understand what Saw fans want, which gets you real close.
Even before he captures everyone, like at the clinic and everything, that's like an actual plot for a real movie.
It was an actual movie, yeah.
Like an actual movie.
Let's hypothetical creator, but we'll just say Mike Flanagan. If he got to work with any
Elm
one
Street.
of these,
Easily.
Elm Street, absolutely, Elm Street.
Yeah.
What he could do with that could be amazing.
So I guess the implication I'm making there is that the absolute height that you think
The
could be
best
achieved
of all
would be-
four of them, probably Elm Street for me.
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, if we look at each of these series as like on paper, what its concept is, the idea of a cheeky killer guy who can only kill you in your dreams, and that's how he gets to you. You can do so much with that.
Absolutely.
Resident
Great
Evil
concept.
is just silly goof. I mean, yeah, you could be serious with it, but like I don't want it to be serious. Kind of.
I think what I would say about Final Destination is that I don't feel like the first movie is really that far off from what I like about, like, you know what I mean? I
think the first one was
movie.
the first Final Destination movie kind of, it takes its premise seriously.
Yeah, I like, it could be better for sure, but like not dramatically better. Whereas I feel like even 3 here,
It could be dramatically better.
Okay, all right, well,
I think the first Final Destination sucks. I think they all suck.
I don't
suck.
I don't think
it.
We haven't got time to talk about Final Destination.
we don't need to
It doesn't suck. No,
I
you
guess
just
the
watch
interesting thing
this.
is
These
that,
movies suck.
Like Saw 6, I really like Saw 6. And that's
Saw
getting
6?
close to
Yeah,
what I
that's
would
like an
like a
actual
lot
thing,
out of
yeah.
the Saw series. But yes, I think I agree that like Nightmare on Elm Street, but by Flanagan, sounds pretty amazing.
If you have someone who you need to get someone to do a Nightmare on Elm Street who is willing to be super creative but restrained when it comes to the dream stuff.
Yes.
Because I feel like through so much of these, like basically every one essentially, I feel like we don't, like, guys, y'all dream, right? You know what dreams are like. Why can't you do that sort of? Like,
There's way too much content in media that does dreams really shit. It's amazing.
Oh, actually, that makes me wonder. It makes me kind of curious. Are you aware of a movie called What Dreams May Come?
I've heard of it, but I don't
Robin
think I've seen
Williams.
it. Oh, yeah,
I
I've
would be
not seen
curious to see that now because it's about like going into dreams, sort of, and like kind of like heaven hell stuff that maybe I want to refresh myself on now that we've seen this.
Mm-hmm.
But just, for imagery and stuff like that. But yeah, you could do so much interesting stuff with dreams. waking up from dreams. Is the character dreaming or not? We, alongside with the character, don't know if we're in a dream, maybe at first, leaving subtle hints.
Rags, a man can dream, okay?
A man can dream, that's right.
And with that, that's the end.
That is the end. We did it.
Whoa.
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
And it feels more, like I said, it feels more like a definitive end because, like, 13 years, no new one, and I don't think there's anything on the horizon for Nightmare on Elm Street.
Maybe, who knows? You know,
well, maybe in many years, but at least, like, Final Destination and Saw both
like Indiana Jones.
have things in the works. Resident Evil, of course, always has things in the works.
I'm sure somewhere along the line, someone's gonna piss on his grave and set it on fire. And
that's the thing, though. They've probably lost doing it with, because that's something we didn't really talk about a lot in conclusion. Was the Robert Englund versus the new Freddy, which I didn't.
What's the point of even drawing the comparison? Robert Englund,
particularly in Freddy and Jason, was just like A tier killer guy. I loved him in that. It was great. What a great villain.
Yeah, Freddy is Freddy because of him. So it's really difficult to recast that.
He's like Palpatine. Like he clearly enjoys being evil, and that's what makes him kind of compelling and funny.
Yeah.
And then you replace him with something with like a facial makeup, which doesn't even allow him to make facial expressions, and there is no comparison.
Yeah, he looked a bit paralyzed, the new one.
Yeah,
he did. He looks like his face got actually burnt, and that's no fun.
Nobody wants that. So, I don't know. It's an underwhelming series, and to be honest with you, it's like, would you recommend it? It's like, recommend the series? No.
I would not recommend the series.
Individual films, and by that I mean 2 of them.
Yeah. I was about to say 3 and then Freddy versus Jason, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. You can
Does it
skip
impact
the
the
rest.
score for Freddy vs. Jason in any way, that if somebody watched that was their first exposure to it, and they saw the recap and thought, this actually might be a good franchise.
Oh, no.
And then they ended up going and seeing The Dream Child or Dream Master, and then their lives are ruined for the next 90 minutes.
Do you remember
the score in any way?
Wasn't it the end of Freddy's Dead? They did that montage that was really long as well of all, like, this past stuff. Or,
I can't remember.
Was it in the credits? And it ended with, like, he's dead or some shit. I don't know. Like, R.I.P. Remember that?
R.I.P. Freddy.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yes, it did. Oh my goodness.
I can't remember.
What a wild ride.
I've already just...
I just want to give Freddy vs. Jason a little pat on the back for knowing or seeming to understand that the third one is the best one, and that's the one it should rip off.
Yeah. It seemed to reference it the most, which is kind of neat. And remember, in A New Nightmare, 1 and 3 were the main references. 3's got the 3 seems to be recognized and it remembered the most. And like I said, when people describe Elm Street, it seems like they're describing 3. Not at all the others.
And as strange as it is to say, Freddy vs. Jason was quite respectful of the series. Both the series. Like, we got the backstory of Jason and Freddy. We got them both fighting each other. Jason got to do all his killing. Freddy got to do all his spooking and hamming it around. There's no way that you... Like, I understand why that made so much money. And I'm not at all sad that it did.
You just watched a segment from Every Frame a Pause, or EFAP. Hosted by YouTubers Mahler, Rags, and Fringy, and joined by a cycling variety of guests across the internet, they critically analyze media with exhaustive detail while pausing at every single frame. Subscribe to Mahler's channel to catch new episodes live on Saturdays, and tune into the EFAP channel to see full episodes, movie and TV commentaries, and gaming streams. You can also subscribe here to EFAP Highlights for daily highlights, supercuts, and shorts. Links to all the relevant channels can be found in the description section below, as well as links to the original videos and ways to support the crew. Thanks for watching.